Scary urban legends that turned out to be true. Boogeyman legends date back centuries and can be found all around the world. Back during the 1970s, New York's Staten Island had its own boogeyman that local kids all called Cropsy. According to the urban legend, Cropsy was a deranged individual who lost his son. Afterwards, he resorted to kidnapping local children to serve as replacements. Some versions of the tale claim that the son lost his life in a tragic fire, which also left the father horribly scarred. There are even some additional versions that gave the maniac a good old-fashioned hook for a hand. One thing that was clear about all these stories was that they grew in each retelling in order to make the story scarier. But probably the scariest thing about the story of Cropsy is that he turned out to be real. His name was Andre Rand. There are some versions of the Cropsy legend that claimed he was an escaped mental patient from one of the local insane asylums. Andre Rand wasn't actually an escaped mental patient, but he was a former custodian at the Willowbrook State School, a deplorable institution for children with mental disabilities that developed its own reputation for its horrific treatment of the kids. In 1983, Rand got in trouble with the law after he got caught kidnapping a bus full of 11 kids when he drove them to New Jersey's Newark Liberty Airport. No one knew exactly what Rand planned on doing with the kids, but luckily all the kids were rescued safely, and Rand was sentenced to a 16-month jail sentence. But even before this kidnapping incident occurred, many of the local parents had a strange feeling about Rand. He was, after all, a grown man who was often seen hanging out with the kids. He would try to play with them, go on walks with them, and even take them to the local diner and buy them lunch. What's even more disturbing is that Rand was the last person seen with some of these children who were never seen again. At the same time, there was still no proof that Rand was doing anything to the kids. That is until 1987, when a 12-year-old girl named Jennifer Schweiger disappeared. A little over a month later, the girl's body was found buried in a shallow grave close to a campsite in the woods where Rand had been living. In 1988, Andre Rand was charged with the kidnapping and first-degree murder of Jennifer Schweiger. In addition to Jennifer Schweiger, Rand was also suspected of several other mysterious disappearances of children as well. This included the disappearance of Holly Ann Hughes, an 8-year-old girl Rand was seen in the presence of back in 1981 right before she vanished. Rand was charged with the girl's kidnapping in 2004. He was never convicted of murder in either case, although he was convicted of kidnapping in both counts and given 2 25-year sentences that would put the man behind bars until 2037, when he would be 93. What's especially shocking about the story of Andre Rand is that he had been known to the police for decades. Back in 1969, he was sentenced to 16 months in jail for an attempted assault on a 9-year-old girl. Somehow, he still managed to get a job as a school custodian years later, long enough for children to begin making up stories about him that turned him into a real-life boogeyman.